So I'm going to go through this in some detail. It's going to be the basics though, and I will do a breakdown of each tab separately, so you don't have to watch this entire recording. If you need a refresher on a particular tab, you can just watch the video on that tab. So this front page gives you the basics of exactly what's going on with your company. Keep in mind, this data is automated. All the information is being pushed in live. We have had to stop the live auto updating while you're in it because that kind of threw people off. Now we do the updates at night, and then also if you want, you can always update the information by clicking update button as well. Anyway, so let's talk about the information that's on this page and why it's helpful. Okay, so let's just start with the basics. So total bill. This is a theoretical, this is a fake facility. It's actually one of our facilities financials, but obviously all the protected health information, or PHI, has been removed from this so that we can show it to you. This particular facility has billed approximately $6 million in claims. Okay, this is a out-of-network substance use disorder facility, this particular one. And of those, about 6 million in claims, about 4,829,000 have adjudicated. Okay, adjudicated means they've just gone through the adjudication cycle and either paid, denied, or some finalized action has taken place. So of that 6 million, about 4.8 has adjudicated, meaning there's about, it looks like 1.130 in unadjudicated claims, which is right here. So that's just that number there minus that number there. On that 4.8 million, approximately 2.24 million or 2.25 million has been paid. These percentages on the right, this column E is simply this total paid over total billed, okay? And column F, the more important column, is actually total paid over adjudicated claims, meaning that the average paid amount per dollar billed is 46.58% in this particular scenario. And so on the right here, you just see this additional expected revenue tab or column. This number is simply this percentage times the total outstanding claims to give you this number. It's not a very scientific method, but some of our clients asked for it. It's not going to be incredibly accurate. It's just if all things stay exactly the same and you collect on unadjudicated claims the same percentage that you did on adjudicated claims, your outstanding collectibles or additional expected revenue is that number. Speaking of unadjudicated claims, this tells you how much your total unadjudicated, as we said earlier, that was just over 1.1 million, but it also tells you how long it's been. They call this aging as well. So of this 1.1 million, about 890 or 880,000 was billed in the past 30 days. Just under 200,000 is 31 to 60 days old. Just under 14,000 is 61 to 90 days, and there seems to be about 34,000 in claims that have exceeded 91 days in the aging cycle. So next down, you'll see your census mix. Your census mix is actually based on dollars billed to a particular payer. Okay, we've broken it down into these 5 categories. Okay, Anthem or Blue Cross Blue Shield, United, Aetna, Cigna, and others. You can always break this out further. We'll show you how to do that by simply typing in the name of a different carrier in one of the boxes to the right, and the calculations will go down as well. But anyway, census mix. This is based on dollars billed to payer, okay? So this particular facility has about 61% of every dollar they've billed has been billed to Anthem or Blue Cross Blue Shield. About 12% has been to United, Aetna just under 8%, Cigna just under 9%, and the remaining just under 10%. This is right underneath is the payer reimbursements that this particular facility is averaging. So for every dollar billed to a particular payer, this is what they're collecting. So for every dollar this facility has billed to Anthem BCBS, Anthem BCBS has paid, keep in mind this is all based on paid, not allowed, paid 40% of billed charges, okay? United, just over 60%, Aetna, like 46%, Cigna, 61%, and others, they're doing around 67%. So as you can see, because the census mix and the reimbursement rates are different, their revenue by payer is significantly altered by that. So even though, you know, over 61% of their census was Anthem or Blue Cross policies, under 57% of their revenue is from Anthem Blue Cross policies. However, if you look to the right, United, which up here was, you know, just over 12% of their census, makes up over 17% of their revenue, and that's because they're collecting over nearly 61% on every dollar that they submit to that particular payer. And then on the bottom here, we just added this one, the average reimbursement time frame from the date the claim is submitted to when the date the claim is paid. So this is the average adjudication cycle, how long it takes for that particular payer to pay. As you can see, in this particular facility situation and in many facility situations, we've noticed that Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield makes up a substantial portion, oftentimes larger portion of a facility census than all the other carriers combined. Because of this fact, and because there are unique identifiers on these policies that tell us what geographic region they originated from, some of our clients asked if we could break down a map, which is right here at the bottom, Anthem BCBS heat map. So here we are in the heat map. We actually have two maps up. You can see your own facility. This is a demo facility. Just keep in mind, by the way, we scrambled all of the data here, so we're not giving away any of our proprietary data. Your actual heat maps will obviously have the correct data. But for example, this, you just scroll over. This is your own facility on the left, and then you'll see the aggregated heat map on the right. It'll tell you how much particular policies are on average reimbursing for the services you provide, not just yourself, which is on the left, but aggregated across all of our clients. So you can know what geographic regions you could potentially market towards that adequately reimburse you for the services you provide, which would obviously, as you know, reduce the patient's portion as well, which oftentimes they have difficulty paying when it's such a high dollar amount. So this is beneficial for your marketing purposes, but it's also very beneficial to clients so that they can know ahead of time using historical data, and it's up to date. Again, remember, it's live updating. So it's very valuable information, and we definitely recommend using this information to your benefit. Okay, and many of you have requested not only to break it down by geographic region and policies within those geographic regions, you've asked us to aggregate data across the actual unique identifiers on the cards, which are referred to as prefixes. So we put the prefixes here. Again, keep in mind this data is scrambled. So this is not the real data. Those of you who have the mobile application, we've noticed you use this functionality a lot by typing in the alpha prefixes of the particular policies. It'll tell you, you know, which payer that alpha prefix belongs to, how much data we have, and then historically, as a percentage of billed charges, what that policy has allowed. Again, this is for an out-of-network substance use disorder facility, the data that we're discussing. You notice there's a lot of SUGs. SUG just stands for suggested, which indicates the suggested pricing, which I believe currently for the levels of care we're discussing here, detox, residential, PHP and IOP, the suggested rates are $900 for detox, $714 for res. 520 for PHP, and 225 for IOP. Now, as many of you know, not all the policies take the suggested rate, so you've asked us to differentiate those that do take the suggested price versus those that pay differently. Anyway, that information is here. Again, this is scrambled data. Please do not look at this and think this is the data that is actually in your dashboard. We've hidden the proprietary information for the purposes of this demo. Okay, so this information is another tab in your dashboard. Okay, so let's go to the level of care data tab. So the level of care data tab breaks down, again, the top 5 categories: Anthem, BCBS, United, Aetna, Cigna, and others. And it breaks it down by the 4 most common levels of care. Again, this is an out-of-network substance use disorder facility, so they have detox, residential, PHP, and IOP. For this, the top for you is your own facility's numbers. So, and below is the aggregated of all our facilities. So you can take the top and see how it compares to the bottom. It tells you the average paid per day for that level of care. It tells you the average allowed per day for that level of care. It also tells you for that particular payer for that level of care what you're averaging in authorizations. Okay, so this particular circumstance, for example, this facility is averaging 7 days of detox, authorized 28 of res, 28 of PHP as well, and then 42 of IOP, and that's for their Anthem, and then so forth for United, Aetna, Cigna, and the rest all the way through. And then below are the aggregated averages, so you can see how your facility is performing against all of our facilities and kind of get an indication of where you stand. This is helpful information simply because if you could take this data and cross-reference it with the outstanding claims you have, it can give you somewhat of a good indication of your outstanding receivables. It's also good information to have prior to admission as well, just to get an indication of how much revenue is going to be generated from a third-party payer in a particular circumstance for a particular level of service. We definitely advise taking a look at this tab and using this information. Next, along the bottom here is the patient data tab. Now, as I said, all the PHI has been removed, so don't worry, all these names are made up. All these member IDs are not real. So this tab is currently in alphabetical order, but based on last name. But this tab tells you every single client that's ever been in your facility, how many of their claims have adjudicated, what the payment has been on those adjudicated claims, how much of that has gone to deductible and coinsurance, how much of that is the patient responsibility if you're an out-of-network provider. That's the difference between the billed amount and the paid amount. So we put that there as well. Obviously different for in-network providers. It also tells you the paid percentage, the allowed percentage on the billed. So allowed again tells you how many outstanding claims you have for that particular client. The additional expected revenue you can expect based on the historical allowed amount and the outstanding claims. So you simply take the historical allowed amount, multiply it by outstanding claims, it gives you additional expected revenue, and then on the far right, your total expected revenue. We've noticed that a lot of our clients will be sorting this data. A lot of them like to sort it from highest allowing policies to lowest allowing policies to kind of get an indication of that information. Again, this data is scrambled, so please don't use this data as an indicator of how policies we're going to pay. But this information seems to be valuable. We've noticed as people use this data, they become more adept at where to target their marketing and efforts. Okay, so that's the patient data tab. Again, this is every patient that's ever been in your facility. So it can get quite long, and it's updating again every evening with up-to-date data. So now that's those tabs are all very high-level overviews of the operations and what's going on with your company. However, we do also have the billing log here. And so this is every claim that you have that's currently outstanding, hasn't received a payment, okay? That hasn't fully adjudicated. It tells you, the date it was billed, the name of the facility, the name of the client, the claim from to date, the total billed amount, the level of care, the days it's been unpaid, and then the status of the claim is over here on the right. So some of these are pending check information. That means we actually do know they're going to pay. We know how much they're going to pay. We just haven't got the check data because we are constantly getting data pushed in. So we know well ahead of time before a claim pays how much it's going to pay. But we don't actually put that information into the paid tab until we have a remittance date and a check number, or EFT number more likely. And again, that would then shift into your paid tab. And this is every claim that's ever paid for your facility. It tells you the status of the claim, tells you, all the information. The status is very important. Paid to provider, and it gives you the remittance date. As you can see, there's also paid to subscriber in here. That happens from time to time. Not so frequently anymore. But it still happens from time to time, and we push this data to you as soon as we find out. But it's also here, but it will be sent to you. So the earlier you know, the better. In situations like this, it also tells you if the payment was all applied to deductible or not, so on and so forth. So this is for people who want to see every single claim, the status of every claim, every paid claim, every claim that's outstanding. If you want to just take a look. And again, this is all searchable data. Okay, so you can, in a later session, we'll show you, you can sort, you can export these things. You can download this file as an Excel, do whatever you want with it. You can sort it and filter it in here as well. However, when it does its nightly update, it will go back to its original format. So we do suggest, if you want to have a permanent filter or sort, you can export from this tab. Okay, so I hope this was helpful, and I know that was a lot. We'll go into more detail, and I'll break down the videos to break down each tab one by one, but I did want to give you a quick overview of all the functionality within your dashboard, and then we'll continue with the team drive instructions as well, so that you can know how to use the other aspects of your team drive. Thank you very much. I hope this was helpful. Have a nice day.